Alright, hello and welcome back to Torment Tides of Numenera. So, I was thinking for a few minutes, and I think I need to do things slightly differently here. Ooh, I didn't even notice this guard. So, I'm really enjoying walking around and doing stuff, but I think that I should probably actually add some action into this playthrough. So let's go ahead and let's poke around at the quest where I'm going to go ahead and execute some treason here by staying in execution. Haha. See, the other things here, I have no idea where to look for the book. I'll keep my eyes open for it. When it comes to Omadon and this asshole slaver, it'd be interesting to come across those two people, but I'm not turning them back into the people I have hunting for them, because that seems dickish. So, we'll keep our eyes open. Oh yeah, we have all sorts of cool things to do. So, as much fun as this is, walking around and talking to every single person, let's go ahead and actually get something done. So first off, I've got a thing to sell. Spending effort to attack. Yes, yes, yes. Ooh, that's a neat looking sculpture. Cool. So we've got the fish to sell and the boots to buy. So let's go ahead and do that. It'd be nice to have a little bit of money. So, hello Sanglin. You interested in buying a fish? Hello, I'd like to see what you have to sell. Oh, I never actually looked at this either. What do you have to sell? Some medium armor. It's armor and less resistance. That's interesting. Plate armor. Micro mesh. That's nice. Micro mesh is a mesh of finely woven metal fitted together with extraordinary precision and shaped into a suit that protects the wearer's entire body. The insignificant weight of this armor, as well as the flexibility of the synthetic material, means that it barely inhibits motion. It's highly prized by nanos and jacks. I am going to buy so much stuff accidentally in this game. It's just going to be ridiculous. Grounding cloak. When damaged by most things, confers plus 15% on all tasks. Interesting. Then some shields. Okay. I kind of want this at some point, but right now we have things that we need to do. So let's go ahead and sell this guy. And that gives us 84, which is still not enough money. How much do we need? It's like 120, isn't it? Let's see here. Oh, how do I get back to where we had it? Ah, the boots are 80 shins. The extra buckle is free, of course. That sounds like a reasonable price for boots. I'll take them. Very good, sir. I'll wrap them up for you. You'll find the extra buckle in the left boot. Excellent. So, anything else I need to talk to? Nope, and I can't afford anything else he has to say. So, farewell. So now, I have some nifty boots. These seem like plain red boots, but when you touch them, a wave of sadness and disgust at the greed of humanity repulses you. You can't even consider wearing them. Glorious. I love that. Okay, so now we have our badge of office. This metal badge was meant to be worn by a city official of Sagus Cliffs. It is inscribed with the seal of the Protectorate. I am so... Something bad is going to happen here. Okay, now that I have a badge of the city official, I can try to obtain an old stay of execution from the council clerk in Government Square. Tiber wants a copy of the document that pardoned a notorious gangster, Kyle Corden. Okay, council clerk. Are you a person I've met? I do not believe so. So let's go ahead and take a look around here. More kids, you are not council clerks. Hurry ups.
With alacrity.
Blah blah blah. Oh, what are these? Smooth metal door has no apparent handle. Okay. Singin', hello. This woman is dressed much like the levies who flank her, but unlike them, her expression is sober and alert. Her hair is cut short, the corners of her eyes wrinkled with crow's feet. A small swarm of mechanical drones circle around her, buzzing messages in her ears. She whispers replies in return, and every so often, one of them whisks away, disappearing into the city. What is it, citizen? She pauses, eyes darting to your tattoo and then to your face. No, you're the one they call Adon. I heard you were in the city. You sense a sudden weariness in her. It's been 10 years since your last visit. I was too young to know you then, but the drones remember. What do the drones remember about me? My dominant tide shifted. Okay. On cue, 2 of the attendant drones dipped close to her ear, emitting a stream of raspy noise that might be some kind of language. You kept to your own affairs, but everywhere you went, the city held its breath. People deferred to you, even the ones with power and influence. You look the same as you do now, exactly the same. I want to know why, and if you don't mind telling me, I want to know what you're doing in Sagas right now. Let's see here. Just seeing the sights. I do mind. I'm not going to be a dick. Let's go ahead and tell almost exactly the truth. I'm trying to escape a creature that's hunting me. Smoking tendrils, grasping talons, a towering nebulous shape. She sees the look on your face and nods. I've seen it, but only through the eyes of a drone. Not long ago it killed a man in the streets, a man with the same mark you bear. If anyone else knew, there'd be panic. Even if it's only hunting people like you. I haven't told anyone, not even the council. That's interesting. Another drone swoops past you, stopping just short of the woman's head. It unleashes a series of raspy buzzes and squeaks. She whispers something back to it, then glances back in your direction. So, what is it you wanted? So, what were you saying? You're not going to tell me. They carry orders to my orders to levies all over the city, and they bring reports from the levies back to me. She reaches out a hand, and one of the drones buzzes something unintelligible. A few years ago, the Aeon priests found them buried under guard and brought them back to life. I learned their language, so our conversations are safe from prying ears. So what's in this building behind you, anyway? She frowns. How is it that you don't recognize the seat of government? I know you've lived here for a time. Do we admit we've gone stupid? Honestly, I think it might. It's bad enough that people already have these preconceptions of me from previous iterations. I kind of don't want to dwell. I don't want to keep giving that impression because I'm going to end up saying things wrong and people are going to think that I'm deliberately manipulating them. So let's go ahead and to tell the truth, I've lost my memory. You've lost more than that. I've seen images of you through the eyes of the drone. 10 years ago, you moved differently, carried yourself like a king in the steadfast. You've lost your soul, or gained one. Indigo tide, okay. I don't mean to be harsh. She gives you a faint smile. Thank you for being honest with me. See? Ah? She waves her hand at the doors behind her. The council meets in here. A representative from every slave family and some from the guilds, depending on who's in favor. Hardly anyone goes in through the doors, though. They're just a formality. Most people have other ways of getting inside. And out. Slave families, huh? I've never seen a building like this one before. What is it? They say it's a ship, built by the ancients to sail the void between worlds. Ooh. Now the crag grips its height like an old husband holds his wife, and it'll never sail free again. Okay, interesting. So, let's go poke around. Whoever you really are.
As you wish.
This is neat. Stylized writing along the base of the statue reads, Sheila the Great, who struck off our chains. Oh, here's the cool... Ah, the Order of Truth. Interesting. A couple of nanos, too. So that's, I bet, where we're going to go meet the Order of Truth. Let's see if we can poke around and fire away inside our... Ooh, wow. I love things. What is this? Power still flows through this ancient machine. A brassy heartbeat pulses within it, just at the edge of hearing, and tiny bubbles orbit the entire structure. No, not bubbles. Holes in space. Oh, I want to remember these things, and I don't have any int left in order to boost this. So, okay, so I'm not going to use the Nemesis, but I'm putting points into that when I level up. Let me tell you, because this is driving me crazy. So let's examine it carefully. The generator combines a huge number of mismatched ports into one functional whole. Once again, you notice the circonate symbol etched into the side like a maker's mark. Hello! So let's try to look through these orbiting holes in space. For the moment, nothing lies beyond the tiny holes but utter darkness. Okay, let's leave it alone for the moment.
I'm going.
Then there's this nifty archway. Towering above you is an enormous archway of metal and synth. Energy pulses through the structure, spilling from thin, transparent panels in subtle shades of gold and cyan. It appears to be dormant, but very much alive. The archway emits a low and constant hum, just at the edge of your hearing. Across the top, illuminated words are inscribed, "The House of Empty Time." Heavy rope-like cables connect the archway to the strange generator nearby. Excellent. The workmanship of this device is quite different from that of the generator. If the generator bears the mark of a brilliant mind, connecting technologies in weird and expensive ways, this archway is merely clever, like a gifted student imitating the work of a master. You suspect that it owes much of its functionality to the generator from which it draws its power. It also appears to be more recent construction. Well, I'm not going to be able to flip it on, but let's poke it hard anyway. You scan the parts of the arch that are accessible from the ground, but you don't see anything that resembles a control device. Finally, you give up your search. If the arch can be activated at all, the method is unclear. Okay. Yep. So...
Yes.
we're gonna have to do... this thing is so neat. I love these things. Okay, so we're gonna need to find a different way in here. I guess we could go poke a little harder at it. See, I don't go to the underbelly yet. Let's go poke the door just a tiny bit harder. I don't think that they're gonna let us in. I mean, it says we can't get in. Wow. So, it's a good thing I accidentally clicked on some of the wrong people. So let's talk to the council clerk. Okay, don't screw this up. Behind a lectern, a four-eyed, hairless mutant processes paper with balletic grace. He's endlessly snapping the elegant fingers of his left hand, and each time the air twists and shimmers, either disgorging a document to be processed, or accepting one that he's completed with his ink-stained right hands. Each of his eyes regards a distinct object, portals that are opening, preambles and recitals that must be reviewed, his own agenda that must be flawless. One eye twitches in your direction. Hello. Exaggerated scorn twists his mouth, and though his eye remains fixed on your face, he gives no verbal acknowledgement. The closest he comes is a faint sigh. At last, after shunting a few more documents to some distant cubby, he condescends to speak. You must wait, of course, until counts or matters conclude. His gaze leaves you, his face returns to its former equanimity, and he continues his work, which shows no signs of slacking, let alone concluding. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. So... let's see. Can I just talk to you for a short moment? The council clerk continues filling and filing papers for a rather long moment. Just when it seems he will not respond at all, he says, I've no time for idle chit-chat, least of all when there is pressing council business to attend to. Is there anything I can do to hurry things up for you? The clerk continues his masterful shuffling of paper from one portal to another, flicking a closed scroll through a gateway with a particularly deft gesture. Then he turns not one, but two eyes your way. If you were inquiring whether I would let your sweating butcher's fingers touch the council's paperwork, I fear for the state of your mind. His eyes look away and he adds, Of course, it is customary to render a small gratuity in thanks for civil service. One eye glances quickly back. So, what exactly is a customary gratuity? Cough, cough. Without so much of a shrug of his shoulders or an inflection that would acknowledge impropriety, let alone shame, the clerk announces, 60 shins. My friend, I would totally pay you if I had it. I've got a fairly persuasive friend here. Let's see if I can talk you into it. I assure you that my matters are important enough to warrant a moment of your time. And how far can we get? 80. Do we blow everything? Well, I don't know where I'm going to get money, so let's just use up your whole stat pool. The clerk conveys his personal regard for the importance of your matters with a long, loud sigh. But he focuses one of his eyes on you and replies, Very well, very well. Let us weigh the worth of your needs, shall we? What is it that you want? I'd like to talk about some paperwork. A faint sigh is the only acknowledgement you receive. Okay, well obviously I'm not admitting what it is I'm doing. So, I'm going to try to persuade again, even though I just blew my whole stat pool. In order to put a stop for wrongful punishment, I need the stay of execution issued for Cole Carton. Yeah. Oh. Nice. The clerk hesitates for a moment, then shrugs. It seems that the letter was consigned to destruction by year's end anyway, given the confirmation of Card's demise. With the snap of his fingers, the letter appears, and he looks it over. Yes, here we are. Quite the criminal he was, and no slouch in treason. But who am I to question the clemency of our peerless council? He hands it to you with a slight sniff. Really? So he was sentenced to execution, mysteriously stayed by political connections, and is dead now? I don't think I knew that. Interesting. Let me check it for errors, Tibber snaps, with an angry look at the clerk. Of course I shouldn't have to, but you wouldn't be here today if a mistake hadn't already made by someone in a position of authority. We're doing this here? Well, he murmurs, slapping the document on your back, I could commit fraud in a plush armchair behind a locked door. He leans around to your shoulder, flashing a grin. But where's the fun in that? Awesome. So, here's our quest item. We acquired this letter of pardon from the council clerk. It grants a stay of execution for a criminal named Cole Carden, whose principal crime appears to have been treason. The paper is old and looks like it's passed through many hands, but it's certainly legible. Why would it have passed through many hands? Or is this like a palimpsest and they're just erasing it? Or using paper? It doesn't seem like finding paper would be too much trouble for the Ninth World. Alright. You feel him writing something on the document, presumably Russ's name, before slipping it into your pouch and giving a polite little cough to catch the council clerk's attention. Everything appears to be in order, he says, mouth set in a stern line. I meant no offense, of course.
I'll remember that.
The clerk turns a single angry eye Tibber's way. Of course I understand, his voice shaking. His eye moves to you. Do you have any other matters to discuss? I am quite busy today. You know what? I'm just going to let you continue on with your work. So, thank you. Have a nice day. The clerk gives no acknowledgement that he heard, and merely continues with his work. So, we've got, now that I have the badge of city official, I've got the stay of execution. Now I can bring this to the overseer. Tell him to release the prisoner. This is not going to go well. It's just not. So Tibber forged this letter of pardon for Riss. The signatures appear legitimate, and the language is impressively official. You're no expert, but it looks like a believable forgery. Okay, well, at least we're doing that. Man, I'm going to end up getting strangled by my words made flesh, and I can just feel it coming.
Yes.
All right, let's continue on our way.
I'm ready.
Man, I don't want to get eaten. I hate getting eaten to death. It's just the worst. I don't recommend it. Oh, our tides keep shifting. I'd like to take a look at that really quick here. So, we're at silver. I'd like to see if, I wonder if there's a way to kind of see, like, almost in like a planar diagram to see like kind of what direction I'm tending. That would be interesting to know. But, yes, and we have to come poke around at these things. And our mysterious clock. It's just, I don't know. I don't like poking at things I don't understand. Okay, that's going to be the theme of this entire game. I don't like poking at things I don't understand without making the tiniest amount of effort to understand them. Alright, so let's see if we pull these over. Hello, overseer. I'm here to present a forgery. So, this man has a full pardon. Release him immediately, I said confidently.
I'll remember that.
He scowls at you. You were here before and you didn't have that badge. Do you work for the city or not? I didn't work for the city. Crap. I was undercover before, testing you. You did very well, but now I want this man released immediately. We're boned. Let's go with 90. Okay. He gives you a skeptical glance, then looks over at the stay of execution, paying close attention to the signature. Finally shrugs. Fine. One moment. He turns and calls to the levies. Unmake the death of the condemned and set him free. He is pardoned. Wow. He turns back to you and bows. There you are, sir. All taken care of. Oh, wait. He reaches into his robe and pulls out a smallish bundle. Here are his personal effects, which we were going to, give to the poor. Uh-huh. As the levies march off and the crowd disperses, Riss steadies himself, not quite recovered from his ordeal. Finally, he raises his head and focuses on you. If you're the one who got me out of that nightmare, thank you. But where's that? His eyes settle on Tibber. There you are, you slippery bastard. Now, where's the money? If I went through that hell for nothing, I'll... He jokes with emotion. A whole day, Tibber. I spilled my guts up there for a whole day. Tibber steps back, spreading his hands. Yes, about the money. You see, Riss, I was hoping to get a reward for turning in the fellow who sold us the brandy without telling us about its secrets, but... But? Riss snarls. There's always a but when it comes to money, isn't there? I should have known. You only said you'd pay me so I wouldn't squeal on you, and you only saved my skin to save your own. I happen to agree with your sentiment here, friend. He smacks his fist together. Now, am I going to have to fight through your friend to get to you, or are you going to step out from behind him and take it like a man? Alright, seriously. Children, calm down. Riss, can you tell us how this went from the beginning? Riss spits and then wipes his lips. There isn't much to tell. Captain Silvertongue here talked me into a dirty job, and then disappeared like an abacos, and left me holding the bag when it all went sour. Yeah, I agree with your assessment. Oh, Riss, says Tiber, can you blame me for running when I had a chance? You would have done the same. And besides, if I haven't, we would have both been sentenced to die with no one to free either of us. Yes, it was totally you that freed him. He stabs a finger in Tiber's face. You only wanted to free me because you know you'd be next on the block once the Devourer ate me. So, to be clear, the Devourer of Wrongs would have known that Tiber was involved, right? The Dendro O'Hurs, says Riss, consume our memories with our flesh. They know everything by the time they finished eating us. And Tiber knew I'd have plenty of memories of him, didn't you, you coward? So, I already know this, but I'd like to get other people's opinions on it. So, who are the Dendro O'Hur? Cultists who eat human flesh to gain the wisdom of the dead. Riss shivers. This city's been using them as post-mortem judges for years. So the Devourer would have found you guilty, Tiber? Is that true? Well, as far as it goes, he would have learned about me if he had eaten Riss, and I did manage to escape the levies when they showed up looking for us. But I didn't abandon you, lad. He puts his hand to his heart. Riss, I escaped the levies and saved you from the Devourer of Wrongs because I love you, and did not want to see you die. You have to believe in me. You're full of crap. Do I? Riss says, cracking his knuckles. So, let me just try to keep distracting you here. Can you tell me what exactly was this job? Tiber said we were transporting black market booze to Marayolios, but he didn't tell me that he'd hidden state secrets in one of the bottles using some liquid Numenera trick, which turned out a slap in the wrist crime into a damn death sentence. Death sentence? Tiber says with an uneasy grin. You're alive, aren't you? Riss glares at Tiber from under lowered brows. That's as may be, but you certainly seem to know when the levies are going to come calling. He looks at you. The council somehow got wind of the deal and came after us. Funny how I was the only one home when they knocked on the door. I agree with your assessment of the situation in a slightly less cynical way. I don't think you were set up, but it's pretty clear that Tiber was not going to take the fall here. And although I may have felt a little bad letting you get, well, executed messily, I was pretty happy to throw you under the bus. Frankly, I'm with Riss on this, Tiber. You should make amends to him. He's the one who suffered here. That's right, Riss snarls. You can start by giving me my share of the spoils. Riss, I don't know what you're talking about. I never got paid, I promise you. This isn't over, you self-serving bastard. Riss jabs a finger in Tiber's face. Hide behind your friend if you like, but he won't keep you safe forever. I'm not keeping him safe. I just think there's a better place to fight each other than right next to a world-ending monster in a force field cage. You're dead, Tiber. Do you hear me? Dead. I agree with the sentiment. Alright. So, there's that. Boy, I keep hoping I'll level up so I can get some money, or some training in a nemesis. So, you know, I heard something about these two people, Strassi and Felinda. Let's try talking to Strassi. The silent merchant traces dark figures over a cracked scroll. It seems to be ignoring you as politely as possible. Let's watch him work for a moment. The merchant's spread fingers' hands glide over a faded parchment with the faint sound of quills scratching. Vibrant letters in an unfamiliar tongue appear in their wake. The merchant is restoring the work once recorded on the scroll, not writing it. You're certain of that. But is it scanning it in some way? Or coaxing the text from the page? Looking closely, you see that Steristi's fingers are unraveling into coiling threads that taste the faded letters below before pricking the page itself. Fresh ink wells up from the holes, forming letters. You cut holes in the page and ink flows up, almost as if you're tattooing it. Steristi jerks in what can only be surprise, then holds up a single coalescing finger, bidding you to watch. It resumes restoring the scroll, but slower, so you can watch and understand. Eventually you do. The page is no simple grocery list or a must-you treatise. Steristi's methods might be different if it was. The scroll is alive, and Steristi is carefully and methodically waking it up. The fresh ink gleams as brightly as a sleeper's eyes on waking. When the scroll is fully restored, the ink flashes. The page promptly crumples itself up and bursts into flames. Neither of the merchants react to this in any way. Okay. When the smoke clears, Steristi plucks an object from the pile of ashes. Taking hold of your wrist, and leaving tingly, inky fingerprints, the merchant drops it into your palm and closes your hand over it. Then, Steristi takes another faded page from a pile and starts afresh. It's just kind of watching him keep working. Okay. Why is your partner narrating me? He ignores you. Why don't you talk? I just don't think he can. Okay. Alright, so what did we just get? Amulet of the Eternal Traveler. Gained abilities. Flex skills. Choose one exploration, lower conversation skill. This is phenomenal. This coin is forever spinning and flipping, never ceasing its motion. It is attached to a fine silver chain by a powerful magnetic force. If you grasp the coin in your hand, it halts its movement with a begrudging whine. As soon as it is released, it starts spinning again. When it resumes, the coin somehow taps into the datasphere and feeds its knowledge to you for a short time. The coin needs charm to recharge. Datasphere? What? They have Wi-Fi? This is phenomenal. So this is one of the key abilities out of the Jack, or at least the one that I thought was by far the most interesting. We are totally putting this on. So it doesn't tell me. Oh, okay, this is just an ornament. Cool. So does this mean I have a skill right away? Or do I have to wait until I sleep? Because I could really use a skill, I'm just saying. Resourceful, yes, yes, yes. Okay, well. Okay, so maybe that has to wait until I sleep for the day. Okay, so I committed my mild amount of treason and didn't get caught. I'm very pleased with that. Oh look, I've kept the badge of office. Seriously, I'd really like to get rid of that, because if someone finds it on me, they're going to ask difficult questions that I would strongly prefer to not answer. So, let's see here. I think that it's probably going to be time to move forward with some of our quests. Okay, so we've met the cultists, but we have not yet met the Order of Truth, and I'd like to go speak with them. So, let's see here. Where were they hanging out? They were in the Government Square, right? So let's head up to Government Square. Let's chat with them. I like having options for how I'm going to move forward. Like, I'm definitely going to figure out that clock. That's bitchin'. Maybe if I talk with the Order of Truth for a bit, they might be able to give me some direction on what exactly I'm supposed to do with that whole binding memories to mystery rocks with runes. Is this the right place I'm looking at? Yes, the Order of Truth. Okay, but now that we've completed a quest and actually got something finished, I'm going to take a break. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.